Okay, this lesson is on writing equations of perpendicular lines. It's the second half of section 6.5 in my algebra book. So here we go. So lines are perpendicular if they form right angles, like a floor and a wall. That's a right angle, or a ceiling and a wall is a right angle. Or where the walls meet, those are all right angles. And if they do form right angles, then their slopes are opposite signs, where one is positive, one is negative, and are reciprocals of each other. So for example, negative 2/3 and positive 3/2, they would be perpendicular slopes. Okay, so determine which lines, if any, are parallel or perpendicular. And I just put the directions at the top right here, so I have some more room right here. And so we have these three lines. Line A has y equals 5x minus 3. Line B is x plus 5y equals 2. And line C is negative 10y minus 2x equals 0. All right, so find their slopes of each. So the slope of line A is that 5. It's when it's in y equals mx plus b form, and that number in front of the x is your slope. So the slope is 5. All right, so when it's remember from the last lesson, when it's in the form ax plus by equals c, then the slope is always opposite the number that's in front of x over the number in front of y. A lot of people want to say negative, but sometimes a is negative, so I just like to say opposite a. So opposite a over b. All right, and then so over here, so now remember you guys, let's go back to this right here. When there's no number in front of x, it's understood to be a 1, so I put a 1 in front of that. So I do opposite this positive 1 over 5, so that's the slope of this one, negative 1 over 5. All right, and then careful you guys, this says 10y minus 2x. It's not the x, so it's still opposite the number in front of x, you guys, so on this one. So it's opposite this negative 2 over what's in front of y, which is negative 10. So negative 2 becomes positive 2, but it's 2 over negative 10, which is negative 1/5. Now let's take a look at these three lines. This slope is 5. This slope is negative 1/5. Can you see that 5 is 5 over 1? And these guys are opposite reciprocals, so these guys are perpendicular to each other. And then this line over here is also perpendicular, so line A is perpendicular to line C as well. And since B and C have equal slope, then B and C are parallel to each other. So that's what all this says right here. B and C have the same slope, or parallel. So line A is opposite reciprocals of B and C, so line A is perpendicular to lines B and C. Okay, so write an equation of the line that passes through the given point and is perpendicular to the given line. So here we have y equals 2x plus 3. So the slope of this line is 2. So a perpendicular slope, you guys, is going to be, we're going to flip 2, which is 2 over 1, and then change the sign. So if this one's positive, then this one has to be negative. So they are opposite reciprocals of each other. So I'm looking for this slope right here, negative 1/2. So here we go, y equals negative 1/2 x plus b. That's my goal. Then I'm going to go ahead and substitute that this point in. 4 goes in for x right here, and negative 5 is going to go in for y right here. Whoops, for y right here. And then when I plug those in, this 2 and 4 are going to cancel with each other. 2 goes into 4 twice. And then we're left with negative 1. Don't forget the negative. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. So I have negative 5 equals negative 2 plus b. Going to plus 2 to both sides. Careful, you guys. Negative 5 plus 2 is not 7. Negative 5 plus 2 is not 3. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. All right, and then you're not done right there, you guys. You got to put that back up in for the b right there. I should have drawn a line right here. Let me do that real quick. This b goes right back up in to that place right there, and so that's how I got this equation right there. Okay. All right. Let's try another one, you guys. Negative x plus 4y equals negative 7. Okay, so remember the slope is opposite the number in front of x over the number in front of y. So that negative 1 over 4. So the slope is the slope of that line is 1/4. So a perpendicular slope, you guys, is going to be negative 4. I flip 1/4 and it becomes 4 over 1, which is 4. And since that's positive, this one's going to be negative. So I'm going to be using this slope, negative 4. So y equals negative 4x plus b. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and substitute in that point right there, this point that they gave me to get b. So don't forget, this 4 is the x, it goes right here, and this 3 is the y, it goes right here. And then negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. I'm going to add 16 to both sides and get 19, and then that 19 goes up in for the b right there. All right, and then we get that as the final answer.